Oh, what's up, everyone? Good afternoon. Welcome to the final session of the week. Happy Friday to everyone. Richard, JR, Shalor, Shark. What's going on? Just looking at the lunchtime range, and here on the 1 minute, we have the 12 o'clock candle. Trade into the breaker once again. Yeah, which we had once, twice, three times. This is the fourth leg out of the breaker again. And then at 1 o'clock, we see that it hit the basically our high of the day. Crossed over and took liquidity to high of the day at 1 o'clock. So from 12 to 1, it just traded back to the breaker and used the hour to make its way back up to the high of the morning. So now that we're into the afternoon, we're in the final 4 hours of trading. So we'll see where price wants to go now. But that's pretty much was the range for the lunch hour. But now that we're back at the extreme or the high of the day, I remember just before the session ended, we were talking about TGIF possibility. So now we're at the upper extreme once again. So again, if we start seeing any type of bearish momentum or bearish setup, then we could see a TGIF this afternoon. If not, we did have earlier this morning, before the session started, actually not there. Sorry. All right, before the session started, this was the previous high of the week. And then we did see a 20% sell off coming from the news event at 8:30 down to the opening bell at 9:30. And so I believe that was the TGIF setup, and it had already occurred, but now we have made a new high. So it's possible that we could see a setup today, but only if a nice bearish setup appears. And we earlier we were inside of a bearish fair value gap on the hourly down here. We've now traded out of that, and looks like at the 1 o'clock hour closed above. So now that's gone, but we do have this very large area above us, which could also send price lower. We have several areas marked here. New York high from a few days ago that wasn't taken, April 16th high just above that. So there are certain liquidity points that price could trade to, and then we could see a push downwards where we could look for another TGIF this afternoon. But that's only if we get the setup. I'm not gonna actively hunt it unless something happens. Let me get back up to the 5 minutes so you can see fewer candles there, but get a better indication of where price is coming from and where it's going. Wednesday. So we have the April 17th high and April 16th high just above us. since the last real retracement, and then we made our high for the range, we've only been trading inside of that range. So the high was made at 11. We traded inside the range for 12 until 12. Traded back to the breaker, 12 to 1. We traded back up to the high. So the last 2 hours has just been trading inside of the range. The range is denoted by the two blue lines. We close above, then we'll have a new protected low, which will have to slide up. It'll also signal the continuation. If not, if we close below, it'll signal changing from bullish sentiment to bearish sentiment, and then we look for lows. We could. The daily fair value gap is up around 18,000 flat. That is an area we could be going to. You're right. That's about 120 points above where we are. So it's well within range for an afternoon. Yeah, I'm looking at the price range here. It looks like everything's pretty balanced. I don't see any areas that need to be traded back to. Now, there's probably some areas down here because of the big bull move that happened at 4 o'clock yesterday. But we did trade to more than 50% of the fair value gap. Yeah. Yep. Started the day with the regular trading hour gap there in yellow. Traded all the way through it. Traded back down. Been trading up ever since. So we don't even have a regular trading hour gap to deal with. Yeah, since the yesterday's high has been taken and was taken earlier this morning before lunch, I'm just kind of in a wait and see mode for what price wants to do today, whether it wants to expand still or just consolidate. So I'm not overly eager to jump into anything unless I see something else. I'll check back in another 15 minutes and see if the lunch low requires any adjustment. DJ, what's up? Molly. So who said the daily SIBI level? I'm seeing that as a good level to trade to. Shalor. Yeah, I see that as I like that level. The 18055 level. Are you long from all of these wicks down here? So far, it's ran into a new day opening gap from a previous day. Let me look and see which day that was from. New day opening gap. Okay, from Tuesday. Close of Tuesday and then reopening at Tuesday at 1800. That's where it's coming from. Tuesday of last week. He rephrased that. It is Tuesday, but not this Tuesday, last Tuesday. This could be one of those situations where price waits until 1:30 before making a move. You know what? I don't think I ever even looked at the results of the 10 o'clock news event this morning. Revision of the University of Michigan sentiment, 77.2. So it came in less than, which I'm assuming is driving the dollar down. Greater than forecast is good for currency. Okay, so we got the opposite. Got the opposite happening. And that was released at 10. And if we look at price from 10, we did get a retracement and then a push out. So we did get higher value here on the indice. The question is, how high will we go? And so far, since we made the swing high at 11, we haven't broken it with a candle body. So we have a chance in about a minute and a half. We'll check back in and see if this candle closes above. I know, man. You definitely need to take some time off. Ooh, okay. How often do you think people should take a break? Wake up, Molly. We got about another 5 minutes. Once we get to 1:30, hopefully things will loosen up then and we'll start seeing price move. Yeah, but yeah, so far this afternoon session, it hasn't really done very much. We started at 1 o'clock, this candle here, and we just kind of moved sideways for 25 minutes. But as we march up, so far none of the lows have been taken. So if you're stair stepping this up, you can put your stop behind the low. Oh, okay, we did close. All right, so we got a closure above on the 5 minute, which is a good sign. So previous high, new high, swing gets reallocated. I'm going to put it on the lowest closing candle, which is this one. All right, our range now is, we'll see what the retracement is, but our high is somewhere up in here. So we're around 900 down to 823. Okay, Molly, wake up. I think something's happening. Yeah, that could be. I did mention that we've taken yesterday's high, which could have been the objective of the day. We had quite a bullish weekly candle after last week's bearish candle, which I looked back and I went back like 2 years. I couldn't find a candle that size. So last week's range was um, a bit out of the ordinary, but it's good to see the recovery this week. Not saying that we're back bullish, but it's good to see the recovery. I knew there would be some retracement this week because otherwise it would have left a bearish fair value gap on the weekly that would have just been, too large to conquer. So I knew they was going to retrace this week, even if going forward it continues to sell off starting next week. Mm. Once a week, okay. Yeah, I definitely don't get that, but yeah, a week taking a week off, that's probably a good idea to do that. Probably, I would think at least every couple months. I had the end of February, and now in about 2 weeks, I'll take another week off. Yeah, I haven't taken a position today. This is the first day I haven't traded this week. I missed the entry down here. I really liked this entry. The setup looked good. It was just there was news coming up about 20 minutes after the breaker was confirmed. But that news had no bearing on price with this breaker. So in hindsight, of course, I should have taken it. Um, but that's why I didn't take the entry early this morning. And since then, I've just kind of been sitting on the sideline. All right, one more minute and 1:30 is here, and then we'll see where price is. So obviously the New York high is going to be current high at 17,898 and a half. And the lunch low, sorry, not the New York high, the lunch high. The lunch high is 17,898. The lunch low is at 17,826. So let's see if this next candle takes the lunch high and then maybe goes for the lunch low. The only thing about where the lunch low is now is because we did make a new high on the 5 minute, we slid up our protected low. So now our protected low is right below the lunch low. So if the lunch low is taken, we potentially could see the protected low taken and flip to bearish sentiment to close out the day. The lunch low stays open, then obviously we're probably bullish for the remainder of the day. And then that lunch low will be taken sometime next week, probably. Oh, cruise to Bahamas. Okay. Wow. Sweet. Yeah, it should be fun. Silverwood theme park. Where is Silverwood theme park? I don't think I've ever heard of that. Oh, Idaho. Okay. Yeah, that area of the country is an area I don't know much about. I appreciate it, TJ. New York. Okay. Yep, let's see where 18K is. Yep, I like this 1811.5. It's consequent encroachment. Oops, of this fair value gap here. Right. Make that a little easier to see. Oops. Well, I think we're on a collision course for right now. I'm looking at the 2021 all-time high. So the all-time high that really started us in the bull run. Well, not started us in the bull run, but confirmed that we were in a deep bull run from last year. That 2021 all-time high was at 17,958. I think we could easily get there. I mean, we're not too far from it now. I'm looking at the 4-hour. We've already taken internal range liquidity. So now we also have taken external range. So it can turn around at any time, but we usually need something to turn it around. So I'm thinking a 4-hour fair value gap above us is where price will bump up against. And then we could see maybe some resistance there, but that's where that 2021 all-time high is. So let me show you where that is here. 17,957. So it's like if we go on the daily, oops. Oh, can't see it on this chart. I'll need to go to the continuous contract. Then we can see it. Right. So this was the area. Now, this wasn't the actual value that was taken back in 2021. It's been adjusted for each quarterly contract. So the value continues to be adjusted. But this is where it's coming from, 17,957. So this is where I'm keeping my eye on as price is moving upwards, 17,957. And this was what, November 22nd, 2021. Right, we fell below that level. It's right here, 957. We fell below that level last week, which then made us bearish. That was the level that we were holding. And so now I want to see when we get back up to it, how do we do it? Like, do we reject out like this candle, or are we able to trade above it and find some support from that level? So that's what I'm looking at. And here we are on the daily. So we still have a good ways to build up. But I was watching it on the 4-hour. Let's see if we can see it here. Yeah, so here on the 4-hour, we can see we took external range liquidity with this candle. This was what, yesterday at 2 p.m. Right, took that. Then we look for internal range liquidity. There was a fair value gap right here, traded down into that. Now we're looking external again. We've already swept external. So now the question is, how far will it go before it looks for internal again? Well, if it's looking for internal again, it needs to probably create that gap here. So with that being said, it's going to, at 2 o'clock, this candle will finish and we'll start the final 4-hour candle for the day. So my guess is the next one probably pushes us up above this level, and then we'll see where it goes. And then Sunday, when we reopen, you got a following candle, then it can come back looking for internal range and we'll drive in here. But I'm still looking for a price to push up, sweeping these highs over here, because I want to see 17,957. And right at 17,957 are these highs. So I'm looking for these highs to be taken. And as I say that, price is falling through the floor on the 1 minute. Okay, let's get back to our candles here. You get the same issue here where external range liquidity has been taken just recently. The price just kept building up, but it wouldn't really take a go and run or do anything. And so now you just trade back into an internal range somewhere. Probably taking out this level. We'll see if price wants to retrace maybe down to 851. And if that's not the level it wants, then maybe it'll be here. Oh, that must have been a culture shock, Robin, to go from New York to California, especially in high school. Yeah, you survived though. You made it through. All right. If we do get a rejection at that 17,957 level that I was showing you, then I would be looking for a silver bullet setup. Why do I keep saying that? A TGIF setup. All right. We got a 50% retracement, almost to the tick, almost, of the price leg. What time is this? From 12, so from noon until 1:30, that price range, we have just gotten a 50% retracement. Okay. Oh, you moved to Sacramento or near Sacramento. You didn't move to SoCal. Got it. Let me go down to the 1 minute since we do have the macro coming in 3 minutes from now. In fact, let me run and grab a cup of water before the macro gets here. Be right back. Just in time. Central Valley equals the pits. Yeah, I haven't heard great things about Central Valley. Oh, sharks. Sweet, man. Hang on, Robin. Let me find that. Oops. Sorry. Let me go to the 5 minute. Okay, so you said, why isn't the lunch low the protected low? Okay. Okay, so the previous high was this one over here. And then the next high that changed and brought the protected, because the protected low was even lower, is in a different position, right? So the next one, we were looking for a close above this level here. We got that over here. And that close above, then you're looking in between these 2 points, the previous point and then the new point. And the price structure that sent price up to here originated down here. right? It traded up, but it didn't make a new high. It retraced back down. It did not make a new low. And then it finished the move. So it originated from here. These were the lowest closing candles. I took the wick off of that lowest closing candle, and then we saw it take out the high and make a new high. And that's why I didn't use this one. Now the lunch low is coming between 12 o'clock and 1:30. So this low here is from 11:35. So now we've had a proper pullback here. So if we make a new high, this low right here is going to be our protected low at 861. Because this will be our previous high. The next high will be over here somewhere. In between there will be this low. Mm. Um, not that hasn't already been recommended. Yeah, the only videos I can recommend would have to be those from like Strange ICT, which I think you have or you've seen already. Just give me a second, I'll find. There it is again, Robin. Let me grab another one because he has several that I think would be good to watch. And and I'm sorry I can't. I don't know exactly which is the best one, so I'll just give you both of them, and then if you've already seen one of them, then you can just watch the other one, or you can rewatch them both and just make sure that you have a good understanding. Oops, that looks like the same one. Sorry. There it is. There's the second one. So there's two right there. Here's another one from Stoic TA. So the other two are from Strange ICT, and this is from Stoic TA. So between those three, it should be able to give you what you need. Sorry, I'm not able to narrow it down to just one, but those three should get you going. All right, let's look at this 5. Oh, we're in the macro now. Still did not get a closure above that previous high. Well, actually, that's not the high. This would be the high now. Now we have a proper pullback, so let's see if we can get above this high. Right, did we take out right at 50%? I just eyeballed it. Let's see what really is 50%. Okay, it's here. Robin, when doing your going back through the videos, if you find that I was wrong, don't be afraid to let me know. Oh, you're gonna go short again? All right. All right. Let's go down to the 1 minute. So I've been watching this bearish thing right here on the 1 minute for 20, 30 minutes now. But I wasn't willing to trust it because it was on the 1 minute, and this is a 1 minute breaker here. Honestly, it was a unicorn. All right, it's past 2 o'clock now. So silver bullet traders, this is your time. You may have missed it already. If that turns out to be the fair value gap that sends price lower, we may have missed it. All right, that was the silver bullet. There you go. We missed a 1 minute uni and then the silver bullet. Yeah. Yeah, I was watching it, I started watching it over here, and so we weren't close to the macro, and it was on the 1 minute, and I was just not feeling good about it, especially since it kept making highs. And clearly this became our high right here. So we were just stair stepping our way up. So even though it made a 1 minute unicorn, I wasn't all over it. I'll tell you that. And so far it's delivered about 25 to 30 points. Okay. So well past the wick that we saw in the 5 minutes. Get back to the 5 minutes just so we can see what price structure is looking like. Hmm. Okay, we had it on a 3 minute as well. 3 minute as well. Is Triple C here this afternoon? Darren, you say you're struggling on the 1 minute. Okay. So I've been at 6.5, 7 point stop loss. You'd have been looking for 20 and you would have got just enough. Just enough. By a couple ticks. But it would have been a 1 to 3 trade. Remember, if we get anything sustained going lower, the TGIF 20% is at 748. So 17,750, right in that area. So it's about 120 points lower than where we are. Georgia, you took it? Okay. Okay. So Georgia's in. VWAP 795. Yeah, this is true. We do have support sitting below us. Let me go back to the 5-minute at 823. 823. Right here on the 5-minute, we have a couple fair value gaps to look at as price retraces a bit. We can also measure the move down so far and see where we are. Right, 50% will be at 875, a couple levels above. Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And it's Friday afternoon, so I mean, if something clear shows up, then I'm all over it. Otherwise, yeah, I'm not willing to risk the progress I made this week. Okay, so we have a bearish dollar right now. We've had a bearish dollar now for 1, 2, 3. We've had 4 consecutive bearish candles. Now it's still bullish from price structure, but we've had 3 consecutive bearish candles for the dollar on the hourly. So it had a big push during 10 o'clock hour, and it's just been pulling back into the range ever since. In fact, let's take a look at the comparison chart as we start to plan the rest of this afternoon. So this is what I was talking about, the dollar. So it had a big push at 10, 11 o'clock. It put a wick up into a fair value gap that was even higher than where it was currently trading, traced back into the range. And now it's been kind of filling in the bullish fair value gap that it created. The Dow has just kind of been steady Eddie today, hasn't really been pushing the envelope at all. But it is just like the others near the high of the day. We have the same on S&P trading near the high of the day. Already swept yesterday's high a while ago. Look at the far right, Nasdaq, same thing, swept yesterday's high a long time ago where it had equal highs. And it continues now, each hour is putting in a new high, except for now the last 2 hours. Looks like it's retracing a bit. We do have a bullish fair value gap to find support, which is 815 down to 804. I did call out 750. I said 750 is where TGIF would be. So it'd be, I mean, that's another fair value gap here where we could find support. So, so I'm standing by. If we're going to continue to push lower, then yeah, 750 could be where we end up. And what's crazy about this breaker up here is it was at 130. 130 is a known common pivot time. Oh, earnings for next week. Okay. Appreciate that. Oh, nice. 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 Amazon and PayPal on Tuesday with AMD. Apple on Thursday. Mm. Triggered your short. Okay. You need 20. Right. Well, so far on this downtrend on the 5 minute, looks like the highs have been respected of each candle. Trade shark looks like it is pushing lower. Now, do you find that you're more easily able to see shorts than longs, or are you pretty even? Yeah, short bias mostly, but can see both. Okay, that's good. Good to be balanced. I have heard I'm really good at seeing longs. I've heard others who told me they like seeing shorts. I wonder if it has anything to do with which year you you start trading. Half at 8:45. Okay, we've touched the edge of the OTE, but sometime that's just a small little pit stop before it continues to crash below it. So I'm not gonna put too much stake into it right now. Yeah, if it wants to turn around, I think this is a great place to do it. If it doesn't turn around here and we see price push below, um, then I'm losing faith in turnaround. Okay, still highs have not been violated. Heard someone mention that there was a 1 minute breaker that it was bouncing off of, and I have located that. Looks like it only bounced for about 10 points. From 852 to 862. Okay. Okay. Anyone in the short who's been dragging their stop loss behind the high of the previous candle, still in the trade? Lunchtime low down at 826, protected low at 823. Now what we could get is a sweep of the lunch low, push below the protected low, and a retracement back into the range, and then a push back into this entire range here. So it doesn't actually have to break close below the protected low. It could just pierce through it and then trade back into the range. All right, we're at 230 power hour in about 30 minutes. Are you in? Okay, scalp until 18. All right, Milad, you're still in. Good job. 829 is your TP. You did a retrigger. All right. Well, congrats on that. So you know, with 25 points, not too bad. $47 3/4. Let's see if we get there. This is Okay, finally did take out a couple highs on the 5 minute. I was looking at the 1 minute. I thought maybe this impulse candle here would have signaled a turnaround, but even on the 1 minute, it looks about like this, where it's a big failure candle. And minutes, and then we have the 250 to 310 macro. All right, Shark, take care. We'll see you in a bit. Still got 8 minutes before the macro, so let's see if price does something impulsive prior to that time. Keep waiting on some sort of impulse upwards where it closes, and we just haven't gotten there yet. I mean, we do have an impulse 5 minute candle here, which engulfed the previous one, but still it's not giving me any type of entry model or anything. All right, we got a trade to the lower extremity of this little zone here. All right, another 5 minutes. Good early entry here. Let's wait and see when the macro comes, if we're still in the game. A final minute before the macro. I'll get down to the 1 minute chart. We'll see if price wants to turn around for me or not. I'm just, let's see. September 867. Let's see. That's 60. There. We'll see. Yeah, I'm not 100%. This isn't what I would consider my A plus setup. So I am on demo for this trade. Looks like price may want to turn around here, but we don't have the hourly fair value gap or any of those types of things I like for an A plus setup. So I wouldn't consider this an A plus setup. We're just revisiting a previous breaker, and it's starting to show the pattern. But again, there is no hourly fair value gap or anything to support price. We've been in this area here since 2:30, closing in on 3 o'clock here. In fact, you know what? It's up just slightly to where cups of this area is right here, and see if the trade works out. All right, Darren, you're in the same long. All right. Yeah, I moved the stop off just one. I think it's one more point up. It was at 240. Now I'm risking 220 because if it breaks this low, then yeah, that's the trade idea. All right, Giorgio, catch you later. Is healthy. That could be. That could be. It's looking a little dicey over here. All right, coming up on 3 o'clock, so power hour. We got 1 hour of trading left. It's break even this thing. I'm even on demo, and I'm still gonna break even it. Oh, you took 841. Okay, Richard. Sweet. But in your break-even setup is much nicer than mine. I mean, we're still in the macro, so it could still trade back into the breaker and keep going back and forth until the macro is over. So I might actually get broken even just because of the time. But kind of is what it is. Alrighty. There it is, finally. That took a while. Richard, you should be over 500 on a mini. If you're on a micro, it should be over 50. Let's see how it reacts to these 5-minute fair value gaps here. And these breakers, not 100%, but they work. And I've noticed the 1 minute seems to be a good breaker at the 3 o'clock hour. When you only have an hour left of trading, the 1 minute seems to hold a little better than it does earlier in the day. But this one wasn't easy because we got a confirmation and a close outside of the breaker over here. And then we got a full retracement through. And then a second time. So I wish Triple C was in here because he was asking during the morning session about the manipulation leg and how do you trade this. You just always have to be aware that this lower edge here is really the threshold of the trade. So you just figure out where you're getting in and how much risk you're willing to take. But the bottom of the orange area is still fair game. Richard in at 840. Well, it ran up to 773, so gave at least 30 points there. I like to see 30 points out of the breakers, so that would be 82. Oh, there he is. He's here. Okay. Triple C. Yes. Remember this morning we were going over the breakers and you wanted to see sort of the manipulation leg. See, in this case, it's a manipulation leg because it's the way down. Sometimes it's a retracement, but either way, it's the opposite direction of the breaker. So in this case, it confirmed over here at 242, and then we had a retracement down to the 50% of the manipulation leg, and even further. We had a trade back up and then down even further. It never came out of the area, the orange area, but it traded down twice, closer to the lower extremity and well below the breaker. So to survive this trade, the stop would have needed to be under here, or you would have needed to re-enter after being stopped out. Thanks, Rizzy. All right, let's see if it delivers the 30 points after this retracement. Let's see if we get a push back up into, and look, 30 points is right at consequent encroachment of the next 5-minute fair value gaps. Let's see if it can get up there. Still within this macro period, we have another 4.5 minutes. Got 53. All right. Good to go. Oh, Larry. Jeez. Okay. Close to losing the performance account. All right. You're still in, though. That's good. All right. Let's see if we get a push now up to 882. Those 3 o'clock wicks. Gotta watch out for those. This is the time frame where if price is getting ready to go somewhere, it's looking to make sure no one gets to go with them. So you start seeing deeper retracements. So whenever people start moving their stop loss and getting real tight, it has a way to take you out of the trade. So during your back testing session, when you go and try to identify as many breakers as you can identify on the 5 minute or the 1 minute or the 3 minute, just cycle through, identifying as many as you can, and look and see how many deliver 30 points profit. And then also look and see how deep the retracement is on each one of them. And let's be careful here. We're at a fair value gap on the 5 minute, a bearish one. We have trend line liquidity here. So it's waiting for people to start moving their stop loss every candle. We could get one push down that just takes everybody out, gets back down to the breaker deep in here, and then goes back up. If we can break above this fair value gap and close above, I think we're in good company. We're still looking at about 8 or 9 more points. Okay, the macro is over now, so let me shift this. I have another macro at 350 to 410. There's also one in the middle at 315 to 345. All right, we got about an hour left on our session today. If you're enjoying the session, please hit the like button. All right, so far it looks like we've covered about 25 points from the entrance of this breaker here. 52 to 76 and a half, so 24 points delivered so far. Okay, see if we get the push up now. Final seconds on this. I'm looking at the 1 minute, sorry. Now it should push up. A young money, all right. Well, congrats. 45 likes. That's it. I even did a live trade today. And for now, just until we see if it's going to produce or not. We do have equal highs right here. No problem, Jay. No problem. Glad you're enjoying it and getting something from the session. See if we can't get a sweep of 876. All right, so we have price collapsing in on itself. So you can see that the highs are getting lower and the lows are getting higher. So eventually you're going to get to a point to where there's going to be a triangle here in the corner and price is going to have to break higher or lower. Okay, there we go. There's the decision. And there's 25 points delivered now. Not quite the 30, but let's see if it can deliver the 30 points from the breaker, which would also coincide with consequent encroachment of a fair value gap, which could also send price lower. Yes, and also just remember, guys, this is Friday afternoon, last hour of trading. Most of the big players and all the volume has already left the market. This is just the last, the last few people that are still trading, which is mostly us retail traders. So the algorithm's probably not moving quickly towards any target. Do we get 30 points or not? There it is, 30 points from the breaker. So again, when you're doing your back testing and you're identifying breakers and you're just looking at them on different time frames, when I notice the breakers on pretty much any time frame, doesn't matter, anything above the 1 minute and above, it usually delivers 25 to 30 points. 30 was really common. There was a handful of times where it only delivered 25, but 30 was really, really common as a number that I saw. So when you're doing that, just make note of what the range is. Also, how much retracement was there as well. So you kind of get an idea of how much drawdown you need to be able to absorb. There it is. Let's see how far this thing's willing to run. So it's already up to 35 point or 34. I wonder if we're going to run for that all-time high. I told you, not the all-time high, but the one from 2021, 17,957. It's about 60 points above where we are. Right. And another thing, when you see this kind of price action here and then get to the bottom and then you get yourself a breaker, you know that this is the sell side of a market maker model. So now you know you're entering the buy side. You're going to eclipse a short-term high, which you did here, and you're going to retrace back down to retest it, which you did on this wick. You're going to then go and snatch this high and then come back and retest the range. So it snatched it here, retest the range with these wicks down here. And then you run to terminus, which is going to be the final, which is going to be up here. but it could be anywhere in here. It's usually a range, so it could be anywhere in there. So I wouldn't just say I want to take out the high, because a lot of times that won't happen. It'll end up coming where, like, there's a swing high here. It'll take the body of the third candle, and that might be the end of it. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at where to target when it's moving up. Let's see. Oh, it's almost 3:30. Let's get back to the 5 minute. I just went to the 1 minute just because we were watching to see how that trade was going to work out. It was stalling in a lot of places, so just wanted to look at price action there and just make sure that it was going to continue to move, and it did. We can get rid of this. These are invalidated now, both of them. Oh, I did that. F twin. I made it run. Uh, Maybe next time I'll actually be in a live trade, and that will happen. Yeah, you start getting more and more players to leave the market. Plus, I'm assuming all the European hedge funds and banks are no longer in the market in the afternoon, probably. All right, Seal wants another 100-point run here. It could be in the cards. I'm not going to say it's not. Oh, thanks, everybody. Thanks for hitting the like button. I appreciate you. Yep, got about 30 minutes left. Let's see. Let's see what we get. We're back up at the bearish breaker, the 1 minute breaker that sent price down at 2 o'clock. Actually, just before, maybe around 1:45 or so. Yeah, short from right here. But I'm not. Alrighty. Yeah, you're right. We do need the weekly candle wick. I think it's probably made its high, possibly, because we're running out of time. We got about 30 minutes left in the hour, and then we got 10 minutes on the other side of the hour, and then it's a wrap. And I'll show you what I'm looking at on the other screen. I'm looking at the 30-second here, trying to figure out if I can get an advance idea of what's happening. So yeah, we have the fair value gap it traded into, but we do have the bearish breaker that sent price lower about an hour and a half ago. And then we also have a rejection here from the fair value gap impulsed out, creating a new fair value gap. So I'm trying to see if this is going to turn into a bearish price move. We already had a tap into the fair value gap here. It sent it down, but it wasn't conclusive. And we are getting support from the consequent encroachment here. All right, Robin, we will catch you next week. Have a good weekend. Yep, so this right here is on the 5-minute. So I guess now we know who won. Lower we go. Lower we go. Yep. Looks relatively clean and clear here on the 32nd. We still need to break below this and get a closure below this fair value gap. We don't want to see it just hang around in here for a while. But it was pretty clean out of here. 884 down to 74. So it's only been 10 points so far. Let's slide up to the 1-minute. So this could have been a breaker here. Where you saw a trade above, then a closure below, retrace back inside. 1, 2, 3, 4 candles. And let's go back to the 5-minute here. The closure of this 5-minute candle, let's see where it is. We got 90 seconds left, and it looks like it's creating a small little bearish fair value gap. So let's see if it actually does create that on top of this bullish one. Because this bullish fair value gap still has not been invalidated. It's not traded below and closed below. I'm not sure if there's any news today. I'm not sure. Triple C, if it starts selling off, then sure, I don't see why not. We still got another 30 minutes or so. And again, the level marked up is 748, 17,748. So you're talking about 130 points in 30 minutes. That's definitely possible. But it has to get up and start moving soon. We can't sit here and consolidate until 4 o'clock because then it's not going to happen. All right, so there is the fair value gap being created. Now it's much smaller than the bullish one, so let's see if it holds. If we get a new low below the last candle. Right, equal lows now. Didn't exceed the low, but we do have equal lows, which we know is a magnet for price to return to. All right, new low created. Now we still need this candle to close below so we can invalidate this fair value gap here. You know what? Let me put that 1 minute breaker back up here. 30, that's what it was, the 30-second. Second, that's what it was. Right, and look at where we are now. We are pushing lower. Okay, let me get off of the 30-second. Maybe that would help. Drag this breaker back across just in case it has relevancy. Trading breaker to breaker. Yep, and this breaker here is at 850. I said the TGIF would be at 750 if we can make it there. So I'm not, I don't know. That's down here. You're talking about beyond the midnight open. Here to the fair value gap, the 1 hour. Uh-oh. Anyone in a short at the moment? Anyone in a short? Breaker to breaker. All right, Cio's in one. Okay, good. Jay is in one. Roberto's in one. Right? Okay. Milad, you got your TP already. Well, that's good. Sounds good to me. It's Healthy's in. All right. Holding a runner. All right, Jay. And let's see what we get because we got really close to the breaker down here. So I'm not sure how much more of a retracement we're going to get. We are at 345, everyone. Okay. So this is invalidated now. Oh, Cio, no problem. No problem. Yeah, I'll just point out all the breakers that I see when I see them. I know it's still not easy for some of you who haven't been looking at it long enough or just don't have the chart time and experience to catch it, but I'll continue to point them out as I see them. And now I won't take all the entries, but if I see a breaker somewhere that's in a good position, I'll point it out or at least draw it on the screen for you, and you can decide for yourself how you want to trade that setup. All right, Milad. Thanks for being here again, and glad you had was able to grab some winners on your way out. So have a good weekend. Okay, you're looking to say, are we at the sell model now? Well, we've taken this low and we've equaled this low and retraced already. So if we do have a sell model, then terminus is going to be in here. So it's going to end up finishing inside of this breaker here. So you're not too far away from where it should finish. I'm not sure it's going to come down and sweep these triple lows. It could. And that would be at 836. So it'd be another 30-point drop from where we are now. But I would like to see these lows swept that it just made the equals. And this could be a good place for it to reject. We do have a fair value gap here. It's the last one. Alrighty. Simon, you calling it a day? All right, good to have you, and have a good weekend. Okay, Rob, no problem. Just try to hang on a little longer next time. Yes. See if we get a failure here and get price to break back down. Just scaring these people out. And right here, 50%. This candle, which sent the last two down. So this was the candle that kind of paused in the middle before these lows were broken. Price was moving down and it retraced once. Then it fell. So this candle needs to be traded back into. And that's what we see here. And now it can continue lower. Let's see if it drops. Okay, we're in the macro. It's 350. 350. We have 20 minutes of trading remaining. You say we hit OTE on the retracement? Probably so. You're right. But if we hit OT on the retracement, I'm not sure it's going to run up to a new high. So then it may just trade in this range until we're over and really not do much. But I'll mark it up just for anyone who is an OTE trader, just so you can see that it did hit OTE. Mm. All right, guys. So you see when Price is working its way down. Whenever there's a retracement candle that's larger than the candle to the left, once price breaks that low, it retraces back to 50% of the candle. It did it right here, traded to 50% right there. 17,878 to the tick. Continued its lower movement, sweeping the low here, continuing down. Then it traded back up to 50% of this candle because it was the retracement before price continued to break and continue lower. So now if we get a break of the low here, you got a wing here that will need to then be mitigated. So price will break lower, close here, and you'll see it start trading back up. But that doesn't mean it's trading back up. It's just balancing price here before continuing. So you don't have to get scared when you see price retracing, unless you got a bad entry and then that's going to put you in drawdown. Then you want to exit your trade. So that's why a good entry is important. And also, if you don't have a good entry, you can wait for one of these to be the good entry. All right, Roberto, have a good weekend. Amia, you have a good weekend as well. Everyone take care. Remember, you hit the like button on your way out. If you're brand new, subscribe as well. Join the community. Don't be left behind. Win days. Nice. Nice. That's awesome, CO. All right, look at where it traded to. They missed it by a couple ticks, but look at where it traded to. This price point, it was trading below, and even below it, before it swept, it made sure it traded back, covered that range, so then it can continue lower. All the way down the line, look at the oranges, 50% right here, traded to 2 candles to the tick. Next block, traded to the tick. Next block, traded to couple ticks above. Next block, traded to couple ticks below, actually. And then off we go. No, unfortunately, this was not an A+ setup, which is why I'm not I'm not participating in this one. No. What this was is, so we had the breaker from up here from earlier. This was at 130. We had the breaker send it down. Then we had a breaker form down here. This also was not an A+ setup, and that's why it was a little iffy for me. I was wondering whether I should be in or not, but it did deliver, and it delivered back up to the previous breaker. And so all I was looking for here was for it to resume and do exactly what it did last time, look for it to fall again. And so instead of taking a blind entry when it comes up here and say, okay, I believe it's going to go again, I dropped to a lower time frame. I went to 32nd, and I wanted to see it create another breaker that said it was going to sell. So give me another sell model. And it produced that selling model here, gave me the unicorn with the fair value gap inside of the breaker, traded into it and down. And so then it created the setup. So that was why I was calling those out, but also why I was not participating is because they are not A+ setups. But that just shows you that not every breaker is an A+ setup that produces. But you see it turned price around on the way up. We could have gotten on the low end, 850 up to, what's that, 885. So you're talking 35 points up. And now it's traded down 40 or 50 points. 85 down to 40. Yep. So now it's down 40, 45 more points. So not A+ setups, but 40 points or even 30 points is still a really good trade. Appreciate you. Thank you all for supporting the channel. I couldn't do this without you. So an A+ setup, it starts in a 1 hour fair value gap. So the green and the red areas. So if we had made it up here and I saw a bearish breaker form here or unicorn setup anywhere in this pink area, then that would be an A+ setup for me, because on a higher time frame, which is 1 hour, this area is saying that there is resistance here and we should push lower. So if price pushes up in there and then I see it give me a formation that we're going lower, then yeah, that's an A+ setup. Likewise, if we pass a bullish fair value gap on a 1 hour, which these large areas, if price trades back down here and it starts showing me a bullish breaker, then that's my A+ setup that I'm going with. Then I also, on top of that, so I want to see where it's forming, and then I want it to form and give me an opportunity to enter during the macro. So whenever you see me put up these two lines that represent 20 minutes, 10 minutes before the hour is finished and 10 minutes after the hour, I'm looking for an entry in that time frame. And so for me, I could see that price was going to go lower once we started the macro on this candle at 350, and the previous two candles had gone to the extremity of the fair value gap, and the candle bodies are still inside. The wicks went above, but the bodies are still inside. So when the macro started on this candle and we traded below, that's when I knew that it was confirmed we were going lower. And yeah, I just like this time period. So the last 10 minutes of every hour plus the first 10 minutes of the following hour, I'm always looking, and that's when I'm hunting for setups. So I'm looking for the location, and then I'm looking for the time, and I'm trying to marry those together. Brother Free, circle the two breakers. Well, which ones you're talking about? You're talking about these two up here? So the breakers are the blue shaded area. So whenever you look at my chart and you see me shade something in blue, that's a breaker. So I try to keep my colors consistent so you can follow along. All right, Triple T, take care. I'll see you Monday. All right, Luke, good job. Way to go. James, no problem. Glad to have you. Yep, no problem, Rob. All right, so Brother Free, let me walk you through this. We still got about 10 minutes, so it's Friday. Let the questions fly. Anyone else who has questions, throw them in the chat. We'll run this session until the questions stop. So as we were building up here during lunch, and then we came back at 1 o'clock and price is still buying up, right? You're just following market structure. Where are the lows? Where are the highs? Keeps making another low, keeps making another high, make another low, make another high. Up, bigger low. Lows took this low out. Now I know we have a breaker, because this high to this low to this high, and then a lower low. That's the breaker, right? Here, we make a higher high. We're expecting now for price to stop somewhere in here, not to take out this low. It needs to stop somewhere in here. If it takes out this low, then we have a breaker set up. So as soon as it closed on this side, Oops. As soon as it closed down here, which was on this candle at 1340, then we knew we had a bearish breaker. We also could look and see that we had a fair value gap created during that movement down. So we had impulse. And so the breaker with the fair value gap is the unicorn. And this is the one we missed. You probably heard me talking to another person in the chat, and I said, man, we missed the unicorn, completely missed it. And so price was falling, and then I recognized there was a unicorn here. Right. And so that's the first one. Then price is dropping. We're wondering if it's going to take the lunch low or the protected low and flip us bearish. So we're still bullish this whole time. Price is dropping, but on the 5 minute and above, we're bullish price action. So we're moving down, high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, higher high. Okay, now we got another breaker. Here, and now we got a high. But to confirm the breaker, we need to close above. So you got to keep following until you close. And that close happened here. So on this candle, now we got a confirmed breaker. Then you look down, you realize, okay, there was a fair value gap here, bullish one. So we have a unicorn set up. Difficult thing about this one is when it retraced back in, it didn't tap the 50% and then run. It made a deeper retracement, looking at this kind of manipulation leg, making sure that price was balanced. And so price traded down here, started breaking back up like it was going to take off. And it came one more time to sweep lows just in case people were moving their stop loss. So this one was a little more difficult to navigate. You may have gotten stopped out and had to get back in. If you put your stop below the breaker, if you put your stop below the manipulation swing point, then you would have been saved. You wouldn't have had any issues. But then you saw price build out, and this is the one that we watched. I was in on demo and we watched it. I think I took 15 or 20 points, but I said I'd like for it to go 30. So we watched it go 30, and then it kept going until it hit the breaker. So now as it hits the breaker again, remember this is a bearish one, so it's sending price lower, but it could also be invalidated this time. So the second go around, it doesn't have to hold. Price could just tear through it and keep going higher. So you don't just take a short hoping it holds. So I dropped down to a lower time frame. I went to the 30-second and I started looking for another breaker to form somewhere in here. So using this similar to when I have the 1 hour fair value gap as my base, and then I look for a breaker with inside of that area. Here I already had a breaker on that was used previously. So I wanted to see if on a low time frame it would create another breaker, so I can then confirm, yes, we are selling. And that's what happened. So you just can, like I said, you just follow price action, lows and highs. We eventually got to, right. So we were this high to this low, then we made it to this high. Oops, sorry, grabbed the wrong thing. Right. So we made it to this high, came back down, made a low, made another high, and then we made a lower low right here and closed. Right. So now we have a bearish breaker confirmed, and returning to the bearish breaker on the next candle, the wick creates a fair value gap. That fair value gap then becomes a part of the unicorn. And now we're looking at a bearish breaker on the 30-second within a bearish breaker on the minute. And then you saw price just work its way down to the closing bell. $15.59. Oh, yeah, that'll do that sometimes, Richard. It absolutely will do that. And that's what I tell you. But once 3 o'clock, all bets are off. If you have a really tight stop loss, it's going to be hard to win. But it tore through what was the bullish breaker that we used this afternoon, closed below it. And so it's likely to be invalidated. In fact, it traded below this low, I believe, just by a tick or two. It did. So we have a new low. So we'll wait and see if it closes down there. But anyway, so these were the two breakers. We had the one that it first formed coming right out of lunch, and then it formed again at 3:30 to basically send price reeling until the closing bell. All right, TJ, take care, man. We'll catch you on Monday. Have a good weekend. JR, enjoy your weekend. All right, everyone, 2 more minutes. Any final questions or comments? All right, Brother Free, you have a good weekend as well. Yeah, make sure you just rewind the last section, the last little bit where I was just explaining it, and hopefully that's something that you can use, that you can take to your back testing session, and you can start seeing these setups yourself. Kurt, yes, futures only. Nope. James, to confirm a breaker, you need a body. A wick allows you to draw it and say, okay, I think we have a breaker, but you're just in anticipation, waiting, and say, okay, as soon as we get it, because sometimes what'll happen is, like, you'll get this right here, it'll confirm and close above the breaker, and then the next candle will shoot down and then back up, and so all of a sudden, you don't have an opportunity to get in. So when you see a wick like over here pop up, now you have your long tool and you're waiting and saying, okay, when I get a closure, I'm going to activate my limit order. And so when it trades back in, then I'm in the trade, or down to 50% or wherever it is that you want to enter. But you need the closure. You need to make sure that price is going in that direction. All right, so we do have, looks like, candle body closure down here. So then that would invalidate this setup. So we had this breaker work twice. It came back down to this breaker, and the second time it did not work. And that's why I was saying you don't just blindly take a trade up here just because there's a breaker from earlier in the day. You want to go down to a time frame that shows a new breaker being formed to show you that price is definitely changing directions and going back down. And here, there wasn't anything created to show that price is going back up. All right, I think that's everything. Okay, like I said, hit the like button on your way out. Subscribe if you haven't already. Everyone have a good weekend. Don't forget the back test, and we'll catch you Monday morning, 9:15. Take care. Enjoy your weekend.